It is the Golf on CBS preview show. As we look back at the Charles Schwab, we look ahead at the Memorial. Of course, we got U.S. Women's Open as well, and one of my favorite courses in the country, Erin Hills. So kind of a big golf week ahead of us. Patrick, it's kind of that time of year where golf does not sleep ever. I mean, it doesn't really sleep throughout the season, but this is the run where it feels like for the next, 6-7 weeks, it's like nonstop great golf tournaments.
I know. And I was thinking about doing some early research into the Memorial, how these guys are only going to have 4 rounds, some of them in between the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open. Absolutely crazy to me. But yeah, hit after hit. And then there's some sleepy time, which will let us get onto the golf course ourselves towards the end of the summer.
You know what? I played a decent amount of golf this weekend. Probably more golf than I should have played with my wife having a friend in town. But you got to coordinate the sitters and get it all planned and all that stuff. But in the Northeast, it's like everybody's ripping because we had a pretty brutal winter. So I think this is kind of the golf time. Everybody up here getting excited about it. Speaking of excited, Ben Griffin, a winner again. I heard a lot of different ways this was phrased. It was like first individual win, first 72-hole stroke play win. Obviously, wins at the Zurich. Had the shades on again. Played well. I wrote this on Twitter, Patrick, but the way he won, in the fashion he won, and what he had to face off against in terms of that pitch in at the 18th from Matthias, it was like winning golf tournaments on the PGA Tour is very hard, and I felt like it was all the way down the stretch until the final putt went in. You never knew if he was actually going to win the thing, even though it looked like he was in total command of the golf tournament.
That was maybe the longest Sunday on the PGA Tour this year. It just felt like it was going on forever. And he gets off to a fast start, which ultimately was really the difference when you think about it, with Maddie playing the first 2 in even par. Ben Griffin played him at 3 under par and gave himself the leeway down the stretch. That was his last birdie on number 2. And it was just surviving the last 16 holes. He got as far as 5 ahead of the field. And every time you think this golf tournament's over, Shane, something happens. Either Ben Griffin makes a dumb mistake, misses it where you're not supposed to. Matty Schmid is flip-flopping bogeys and birdies pretty much all day. You think, okay, on the penultimate hole, he chips out sideways, makes bogey that way. You think, all right, this thing is finally over. It's finally over. And then he chips in for birdie, and Ben Griffin has to get up and down from an awkward lie from the rough just outside the greenside bunker. So he stuck it to the haters and losers, of which sadly there are many, according to Ben Griffin. I don't know many Ben Griffin haters.
No,
I don't know about you.
No, not a lot. Not a lot in my world, I don't think. But I mean, you know what? Sometimes you just got to write it on the board yourself. I mean, MJ was famous for that. Maybe Ben Griffin is like the golf's new age Michael Jordan. You never know.
Maybe.
That's what people are saying.
UNC Connect, obviously.
There you go.
Big week for UNC with David Ford. A lot of other things too. Belichick maybe getting married here. So very happy for all the Tar Heels out there. And big win, obviously, for Ben Griffin. And people are chattering about what it could mean for his career.
Yeah, what it could mean later in the season. We'll get to Ryder Cup in a little bit. We're going to do our projections for the first time this season as we start to kind of look at the 12-man teams on both sides. And there's a lot of names that will be thrown out over the next couple of months as we do this. I can promise you that. Ben Griffin might be on the list. He might not be. Scottie finished 4th. Fleetwood finished 4th. Scottie, like I was telling some friends of mine on Saturday that it felt like he makes the cut and he was like, all right, maybe I should try to win this thing. And he goes out and fires a great 3rd round. I thought he was going to miss the cut. I thought he was going to win after the 2 holes he played on Thursday. Then I thought he was going to miss the cut. And then I thought he might win again. But this is like the definition of Scottie Scheffler right now is ho-hum week, not that into it, putted poorly, finishes 4th, right?
Yeah, it felt like he sleptwalked his way to a T4 finish, and he was never really too engaged in it. And really, he talked about it after, how Friday he felt like the tournament kind of slipped away from him. And Saturday, that round could have been 3 or 4 strokes lower. The way he hit the golf ball, it felt like he could have gone sub 60, honestly. And then Sunday, he didn't really make a whole lot either. But, man, just so easy to him, and just another performance where it showcases how high his floor is.
Yeah, I had him on my can't win list, and I promise you 2 holes in, I
Kudos
was
to you.
like, oh boy, this is not gonna go well. When he starts out eagle birdie, and you're like, oh well, this is kind of Scottie might shoot, might win this thing by 10. I think that was something we were pointing at. Is it's a golf course that's maybe hard for a player like Scottie to separate, just because maybe the powers that he possesses don't exactly shine on this golf course necessarily. But I mean, the dude is just like, how do you not have him atop your list on every major going forward? Not just because of what he's done in his career, but every single week, the consistency is right there. And I was impressed, honestly. I mean, even without the victory, I was impressed that he played that well. I mean, it seems like he had a lot going on that week. I think he went to a couple Stars games, like at home, doing stuff, dealing with the hangover of winning the PGA. I don't know if you follow Ted Scott on Instagram. He does those Sunday sermons where he talks. It's obviously, a lot about faith and religion, but I thought he said something interesting this Sunday on his Instagram about Scottie wins the PGA and everybody's focus just goes to what's next. And nobody talks about what it takes to win one of those. First time he's won the PGA, the excitement of finally getting that done. All of us and we did it the Sunday after. I mean, we're doing exactly what Ted Scott's talking about is, can he win the US Open? Can he win all 3 majors to finish the season? I mean, it is so interesting to hear from somebody within that circle about what they think versus the stuff we talk about, because we look ahead and I don't think Scottie looks ahead ever,
Yeah, exactly. I will say if this tournament was 7 holes longer, Scottie
Yeah.
Scheffler wins. Absolutely. And
I think so too.
I think you hit the nail on the head with people were kind of questioning the fatigue factor almost. I think it was more preparation based. Scheffler is such a creature of habit, like you mentioned. He's never looking ahead, never really looking behind too much, and not going to the golf course Monday, Tuesday, playing 9 holes on Wednesday, going to the Stars game. Also, maybe influenced the sluggish start outside of those first 2 holes on Thursday. And so I think getting back into his routine moving forward, the wins are going to keep on coming. But definitely interesting.
Maybe he can't win this. Maybe he just can't win this event. Maybe this is his Riviera to Tiger, right? I mean, maybe that's where we sit here with the Charles Schwab.
Yeah, I think he'll win it one of these days.
Okay,
I have faith in him. Hot take alert.
I mean, he might actually pull this thing out at some point. Anything else from the Charles Schwab? I mean, golf course is interesting for the players. It tests them. It's fine on TV. It's not going to kind of blow you away, but I think it's totally a fine test and a different test. And I think that's the stuff we want to see throughout the season is kind of slot in. This golf course, think about Harbor Town following Augusta, very different than what you saw the week prior at the PGA. And that's what I like to watch is I want something to be different, to test different, to demand different. And I feel like that's a lot what you get with Colonial.
Yeah, balls were bouncing around, really firm greens, which was great to watch. Premium on fairways, which is always good. One final note is Rickie Fowler. A little disappointing in the final round. You see the Matty Schmid, Ben Griffin, Rickie Fowler group. And Shane, I know he's going to get sponsors invitations and career money exemptions into some of these tournaments, but Fowler does not have full-time status next year on the PGA
Crazy.
Tour. And he is hovering around that 90 mark in the FedEx Cup. Obviously, those outside the top 70 will be battling for cards in the fall with only 100 on the line. So big couple of months for Rickie Fowler, and probably wishes he could have squeezed a little bit more out of that performance there at Colonial.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point about Rickie, and really, as we get into Ryder Cup projections, you think about Rickie Fowler. You think about so many of these names that have been such a consistent marker in terms of notables on the PGA Tour. And so many of those names, the players that we expect to be there, the players we expect to be on these teams, whether it be a President's Cup or Ryder Cup team, they're not just not on these teams, but to your point, they're now battling to continue to play full-time in terms of PGA Tour golf. I mean, look at just recent major winners, players that, kind of pop on the scene and you're like, all right, is this guy, Wyndham Clark, going to be another, one of these types of players? And then the game quickly falls off. I mean, Rickie struggled for a long time with the game, but it feels like every time he's around the lead on a Saturday and Sunday, it's not just he doesn't perform, but he shoots something like this, right? 4 over par, never even close to being in the conversation And for Rickie, I don't know what has to happen. He doesn't look that happy playing golf. I think that's something that bums me out is when you watch him on the golf course, like, doesn't seem like there's a lot of joy in what he's doing in the process. Like, he just carries the water bottle around like my son when I scold him. It just doesn't look that much fun anymore. And I don't know if Rickie was ever the Rickie Fowler persona and Rickie Fowler as a golfer. They were very different, right?
Mm-hmm.
The persona was played up. He's not just a golfer. He does all this other stuff. But him as a golfer, he was never that interesting as a player. He was good, but he wasn't like he bombed it. Very good putter, obviously very good for a long time inside of 10 feet. But I think Rickie Fowler, the golfer, now almost seems to marry Rickie Fowler, the persona, a bit on the golf course. And it just doesn't look like it's that much fun. I mean, when you watch him play.
He looks almost old, tired, and like the scene from Forgetting Sarah Marshall when he's wearing orange on Sunday. He's like, why am I wearing this shirt right now?
Yes.
So, Shane, can you guess? Rickie's number 90 in the FedEx Cup. Can you guess who is number 91? He is beating this person by 0.3 of a point.
I mean,
Ryder Cup related.
Wyndham Clark, Max Homa,
Zach Johnson.
91?
Mm-hmm. Zach Johnson's 91.
God, Zach Johnson just firing that third round at Augusta is going to carry him into the conversations later in the season. One round of golf for ZJ forever will be a part of what he did in 2025. Oh, that is depressing and sad if you've been a fan of Rickie Fowler. And you mentioned Ryder Cup related. This is the week. We're finally going to do it. We're going to keep doing this throughout the year. The conversation, I don't know for you, it feels like to me, really the last 2 weeks is the Ryder Cup conversations have started. Like, seems like every podcast, everything I listen to, even the shows, even when you watch live golf, everything kind of goes back to, well, can this propel them to the Ryder Cup, right? And it feels like it started to heat up.
It's so funny. Every time an American wins, is he going to be at Bethpage?
Honestly, every time an American shoots sub 65, it's like, is he going to be on Bethpage?
It's like he's on, and everyone's like, he's on my team. He's on my team right now if it started tomorrow. I think kind of the PGA happening and PGA of America doing both probably always kicks off the conversations. But this year, Shane, you think about a handful of years ago at Whistling Straits and how secure that U.S. team was, and you fast forward to today, and the back half of this American team is going to be different for everyone, I feel like.
All right, so you mentioned 2021. I was going to bring that up as well. We've slept on this team, I think, over the years, considering how good they were. Morikawa, DJ, Bryson, Brooks, JT, Cantlay, Finau, Xander, Spieth, Harris English, Berger, and Scottie Scheffler, who, of course, was a captain's pick at the time.
Should have been Kevin Na.
I know. I can't believe they left him off the list. That was the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, and 10 ranked players in the world on the American team. You think about what we're going to be rolling out in 2025. Very different teams. And I'm sure Josh is going to do this. You want to start with the Americans? Should we start with USA, or you want to start European?
Let's start with the Americans. Let's get the Band-Aid, rip it off.
All right. And Josh, if you could toss up just where the top 6 qualifiers are right now. And these are the auto qualifiers. Obviously, everything has changed in terms of the way things have happened in terms of qualifying over the last few years. But these are the autos right now. I think this will change for sure, especially with the way Russell Henley's played over the last couple of months. But, I mean, Scottie, Xander, Bryson, JT, Morikawa, are those 5 on your team right now?
They're all in. Yeah.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, Russell, I think he's on the team, but the current trajectory is not great for him. I'm not loving it.
He played so well early in the season. And I mean, I've had him, at the Masters to win. And he shoots a terrible opening round. I think he shot 79 in the first round. Yeah. I mean, he wins API, T30 at the Players, misses the cut at Augusta, shoots 79. I don't think he made a birdie on Thursday. Followed it up with 68, by the way, and he almost made the cut. Top 10 at Heritage, played fine at the Truist, made the cut, and then 77, 75 at the PGA. So his 4 major rounds this year, 79, 77, 75, 68. for Russell Henley. And when you think about Bethpage, obviously major championship level golf course, not great for Russell Henley. So that's the and right now, if it was the team, this would be the 6 on the team, plus obviously the 6 picks. I'll let you begin with your American squad in late May as we look ahead at this Ryder Cup team.
Okay. Do you want all 6 captains picks?
Yeah. Let's roll.
Okay. My first captain's pick will be a member of that 2021 team, Harris English, playing some great golf.
On my team as well. One of my picks as well.
Yeah, driver-heavy golf courses. He has feasted this year. You think Augusta, you think Torrey Pines, you think Quail Hollow, Bethpage Black. Got to hit the big stick well. Daniel Berger is on my team as well. The miscut at the Schwab, not great, but seems like every week he's improving. So a guy who has a little fight in him too. He's a very confident player, which I like. He's not someone I think will shrivel in the moment.
Okay.
Patrick Cantlay's on the team. Just got to do it.
Same. Throw him out there with Xander. Just do it. I mean, there's no reason to mess that up. Let's not get cute with it.
Yeah, great in team events. Gonna bring something. I don't know what, but he's gonna bring something to bet.
Yeah, I do think there's, Patrick, I think about this a lot with the Ryder Cup team. Is it feels like modern day conversations literally only exist around how they play in PGA Tour events, and I feel like we forget that A, it's different than a stroke play golf tournament, and B, intangibles matter. Whether that's, are you a good match play player? Do you have a teammate you play well with? Is your history in terms of playing in some of these formats good? I think you check the box on Cantlay in all 3 of those, right? He's played well historically in team events. He plays extremely well alongside a good friend of his in Xander Schauffele. And I feel like, it's almost like Sergio for so long. It's like, why are we screwing with this? Just put him on the team. Like, he shows up and plays well. Same thing with Poulter up until, what was that? Was that 21 when he played 21. Poorly? Yeah. I mean, for so long, it's like, if the guy's good at this, let's do it, right? I mean, there's 3-point specialists. I mean, we do this in the dunk contest in the NBA. These people aren't great NBA players. Some of them don't even play in the NBA, but if they're good dunkers, let them dunk. And I think the same thing can be said about the Ryder Cup team. So I got Cantlay as well.
Yeah, Patrick Cantlay, the Mac McClung of this Ryder Cup team.
There you go.
And just rises to the moment. Rises to the moment, right? Made a putt on the final hole in Rome. Did so again there in Montreal too. So he's on the team. And then it gets weird, Shane. Then
Very
it gets weird. I'm going with Spieth. I'm doing it.
I got him as well.
Me enough. How could you forget that 3rd place finish at the PGA at Bethpage many moons ago when
Hey Patrick, can I ask you a question? Who are you throwing Spieth with? I mean, the JT thing, we've done it. It's been good. It's been bad. Do you do that again, or are you pairing Spieth with somebody different? Like, what's the mentality? Because I have him on my team as well. What's the mentality here with Jordan Spieth? Is it young player who's hungry? Is it veteran who's been in a lot of these situations? Is it throw him out there with Scottie and it's kind of maybe you wear burnt orange that day? Like, what's the plan for Jordan Spieth on this team?
That's a great question, because I do know people who are on the analytics team in 21 who are begging Stricker to separate them.
100%.
And they never did, right? That's like the one grouping that they just won't use by the numbers at all. They're like, oh, this DJ Morikawa one, that's great. We didn't really think about that. Spieth Thomas, we're not going to take your advice here. Sorry.
Yep.
So I'd love to see them split up, because JT's probably going to be one of your top players, and I think Spieth can come in there and he's a wild card. Like, if he has it that week, all upside. And if he doesn't, you can sit him. You're not asking Jordan Spieth to be a top 4 guy on this team. And I think that's what's often missed with captain's picks, where, oh, we're picking Spieth, we're going to trot him out 5 times. No. It's 2 or 3. No. And if he's hot, you run with it, right? And so
can I throw something at you kind of crazy?
Yeah.
Could you do Spieth with Bryson?
Oh,
is that a possibility? Do you lean into it? I mean, talk about a couple of Americans that would fire up the crowd maybe more than anybody else that's going to be on this team.
So I know who I have Jordan Spieth with.
Who is that?
And it's with my next pick.
Oh.
It went so well in Paris, we have to run it back. Patrick Reed is my number 11 on the team.
Wow.
He needs a big U.S. Open. He's in the field. But Patrick Reed is on this team. I believe he is the revolving door for this U.S. team. If he's on it, they win. If he's not, they lose.
Wow.
So I'm putting Spieth and Reed together, going full-on wild boy mode. Who knows what they're capable of? Could be great. Could be one match.
Is this Devontae Adams going to the Jets? Is that what you're trying to do here? Is this Dwayne Wade going and playing with LeBron on the Cavs when he was about 15 pounds too heavy and couldn't really run up and down the court? Are you trying to muster up memories of our youth here?
Those are pretty kind comparisons. I was thinking more like Alan Lazard to the Jets, maybe not Devontae Adams. Jordy Nelson, perhaps too. Donald Driver, throw them on the Jets. That could be it. No, I just think Reed, he's not going to be on the team, but he's on my team. And go ahead.
This is entertainment. And it's meant to be something for people to watch and care about. He's not on my team, but I think for the good of the event and for the interest going in, he probably should be on the team. If he plays well, like you said, he's got to play well at the U.S. Open. He played great at Augusta. He's got to play well at another major championship. Is he in the Open? I'm assuming probably not, right?
He qualified.
He qualified for the Open Championship.
He went through a qualifying series event and got in.
Okay. So he's in the next two majors. So if he top 15s in both, you got to put him on the team. I think
so.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
And number 12, perhaps even more controversial. I'm going with the captain, Shane.
Yeah.
I'm going with Keegan Bradley. He is playing like, I think you could say top 6 American right now. He's playing so good. And so what do you do with the captain spot? I think that's a big reason why they brought Jim Furyk in, because if you look at that captain's room, it was very inexperienced, and that's what Bradley wanted at first. And then I think there was oh gosh, I'm actually playing some really good golf, and I kind of think I should be on this team. Let's get someone who has some experience. So we're just running back 2018 Paris if Jim Furyk's the captain there also, which probably don't want if you're the Americans.
Yeah, but I like how you're bringing all these ideas from Paris when it's like the worst Ryder Cup performance ever. Let's get Reed on there. Maybe you know what, they should mow it really tight with thick rough as well. Let's get those fairways about 8 yards wide.
Yeah, let's get Brooks and DJ fighting about going out on the town afterwards too. So those are my 12.
All right now. So same for me that you had was Harris English. I have Jordan Spieth as well. I've got the captain on my team as well, and I have Cantlay. I've got Keegan on, and you know what? Nothing more than when you look at the list, who's played well, who's playing well, who feels like they have a little bit of experience in these team events. The list is not. I'm telling you, it is almost empty. It's bare. You got to go to the store, man. I mean, we haven't had groceries for weeks if you're the American team. And then I'm doing this because I think one of my least favorite parts of these team events, there's not much to critique, if you will. The one thing I don't love about the events is guys that haven't made teams before playing really good golf and being left off because the qualifications are so captain heavy. I don't love that. I think when you look back historically at older teams, both sides of things, the idea that you played well and qualified is a notch to who you are as a player in that era, that time slot. 2025 being obviously the case right now. So I'm going with a couple of players that have played really well this year. I'm going with Novak on my team, and I'm going with Matt McNeely on my team. I don't know if they're the best fits in terms of playing Bethpage, but I do like the fact that they've played good golf this year. And I think when you play good golf and you keep it going, let's say they play well in one of the two major championships, I think there's deservingness to how you play professional golf on a Ryder Cup year in terms of qualifications. So those are two names I've got on the team. Obviously, probably only one of those guys make the team unless they win a major championship. But I want to give a little credit to some of the rare Americans outside of Scottie Scheffler that are having a really good season.
And I've loved how both players have talked about the Ryder Cup. McNeely's saying, yeah, I want to be at Bethpage, but I want to win points
Yep.
at Bethpage too, which I really like. And I mean, when he's on, he's on. And then Novak's obviously had a great year too. And he even mentioned this offseason that this was a year he was going to take a step. He was so confident he was going to take a step. And although no one had Novak on the Ryder Cup radar, he had the Ryder Cup on his radar. So I think that speaks a lot to him. I like both of them too, but I think our difference were I had DB straight vibing and Reed,
Yeah.
and you had Novak and McNeely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're going to be right.
Yeah. Well, there's no winning here, I don't think, because as we flip over to the Europeans, it's like you want to talk about 2021 whistling straights on the American side. Let's look at the European team, because the qualifiers right now is about half the story. Honestly, I mean, you think about Liv and you've got Bryson obviously on Liv. Like, I don't think there's any chance Koepka makes the team unless he wins one of the next two major championships. Yeah. I don't think even if DJ won one of the next two majors, he's probably still not on the team, considering his form as of late. But the Europeans, including Liv players, it is a incredible group. I mean, obviously Rory, you got Lowry, you got Rasmus, you got Tyrrell, you got Sepp, and you got Fleetwood. Those are the auto qualifiers. I mean, all 6 of those on your team?
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah. Easy. Now that's 6 guys on the team. Who we don't have on the team is quite remarkable. And that's when you start to pick the players here and you go, oh boy. Like, do we have odds for this thing? Are there odds out yet on the Ryder Cup? Is there any chance the Americans are favorites right now?
They are. Europe is plus 150
goodness.
Still.
Like, if you're a gambler, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Put the farm on this thing.
Yeah. That's what I kind of operate on the edge of gambling Twitter, and everyone's just been peppering Europe plus 150.
Yeah. All right. So we got the same 6 here. So I will roll post those 6. This is shocking. I got John Rahm on my team.
Okay.
Do you have him on the team as well?
I do. I do.
Yep. John Rahm's on there for you. Shocking. I got Ludwig on there. Do you have him as well?
I do.
I mean, honestly, has not played great golf this year. But again, I don't think you'll leave him off one of these teams for the next, let's call it 15 years or so. I got Victor Hovland on my team as well.
I do as well.
Victor Hovland. I mean, these are major winners or potential major winners that aren't even in the top 6 in terms of qualification right now. When you compare USA to Europe, you've got to remember that these 3 aren't qualified. Rahm, Ludwig, and Victor Hovland. I got Bobby Mack on the squad.
I do too.
Robert McIntyre, like his game, like his chances to play well at this golf course. And again, like, we're now at 11, and those are the guys we've picked. And there's plenty to go from here. I think the way Justin Rose has played early in the season, he hasn't played great the last month, but I think Justin Rose has put himself in a position to get picked on this squad, considering who the captain is and the relationship there, as deep as it is. I think Justin Rose is going to get picked, so I've got him on my team at 11.
Look, I'm a member of the starting 5 on Team Rose, so he's definitely on my team too. For everything you said, and also how he performed in Rome too, and kind of sherped some of those guys around also.
So really, I mean, it would take Rose, like, pretty much not making another cut, kind of like what we saw at the PGA, like that level of golf. It's going to take that for him not to get picked. And I also think even if he does that, it's going to take Rose doing like a Sergio Garcia, I don't deserve the pick, I'm turning it down, like Sergio said after the PGA. Like, to me, that's what that's going to take from Rose not to be on this team. And I don't think he'd do that. I think that's how much he wants to play on this thing. So last pick, number 12. Really, I'd say the one kind of flyer.
Yeah.
When you start to look at the other names on the list, I'm going Thomas Dietrich. That's my 12th. He played well early in the season. It's not played as good as of late, but I like his game at Bethpage. So I have Dietrich as my 12th. Who's your 12th?
I like that one. I have a different 12th. I really wish Sergio Garcia was playing better golf, but like you mentioned, he's going to fall on his sword if required. I don't think.
By the way, no chance he doesn't accept it if he gets picked. No chance.
How
That is
about
such it's a cute thing to say, but it's not happening.
how about his social media post? Didn't qualify for the U.S. Open. Barring a miracle, I won't be playing in the major.
And I think it was complimentary to the USGA as well within that
Yes.
caption. I think he said the great championship or something. That'll probably make up for some of the antics over the years, I'm sure.
I went with Young. I tend to lean Young when going with the flyer, and saw a little bit of him at the PGA Championship. I'm rolling with the Dane, the second Rasmus on this team, Neergaard Peterson.
Yep.
Been tearing it up on the European Tour. Almost won on, I believe, the PR, the Puerto Rico Open, couple months ago. And so he's my flyer at 12. I think you could go Aaron Rai potentially if you want to go the deserving route, playing some great golf. Noren coming back also. He adds a little bit of a wrinkle too. Matty Fitz. Is that PGA Championship performance the real deal and kind of the start of a run? If it is, he probably gets the nod. But right now I'm going with Neergaard Peterson.
So those are our 12. There you go. What are
Much
we?
easier for the Europeans.
Yeah, it's like 11 are in, and then who's the flyer, right? Who's the one outlier? And I think the crazy part is, and you mentioned a Matty Fitz, is not on the team on either of our list right now, but it's a major champion who's had a lot of experience at Ryder Cups. If he plays half decent throughout the summer, he's probably going to be that pick, right? So it's a scary team, man. When you look at it on paper, 1 through 12, like who do you sit in these sessions is the thing I keep thinking about for Luke Donald. And I mean, that's a good problem to have. But I can't believe the Americans are favorites. I know home teams typically win these things, but the Europeans seem more comfortable on American soil than vice versa, especially considering how often they play, PGA Tour golf for the most part. So those are our teams. We'll continue to kind of lay them out as the season goes on. But yeah, Ryder Cup year, Ryder Cup talk, and that's kind of been, to me, the focus of the last couple of weeks. So nice to jump into that. We got Justin Ray coming up. We're going to do some power rankings for the U.S. Open. And then, of course, our picks for Memorial, where I may or may not have Scottie Scheffler again on my can't win list. So we'll get to that in a bit. Patrick, we are exactly 2 weeks away from Oakmont. This is how much I'm excited about it. Was nerding out on YouTube last night watching 2016 highlights of DJ and all that went down around that golf course the last time we were there. Excited to get back there. I think the golf course is epic. I think Overpar is probably going to win. I don't think our power rankings have changed much after what we saw this past week. I don't think a lot changed at Colonial, but has anything moved? Anything shifted in your top 5?
One name has moved down.
Let's go
from 2 to 5, Shane, because the best ability is availability. This is what he gets for skipping yet another signature event. And that final round at the U.S. Open at Oakmont, how could we forget him tweeting at the USGA in defense of Dustin Johnson for that penalty without telling him? Rory McIlroy's down to number 5 for me.
Wow.
We talked about it a little bit. What's going on in the locker room there? Does there need to be a players-only meeting in the McIlroy camp? I'm not sure, but we'll find out at the Canadian Open. But right now, he's dropped to 5.
Wow, Rory all the way down to 5, man. I mean, that's interesting. You know what? It's funny. I have him higher than that. I thought about this last night for a bit. I don't know if I love him here. I just think he's an easy pick because he drives it so well. But the driver hasn't been what it's been in the past, especially over the last couple of events. So, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think I like him at 5 better than I like him at 3 on my list. I got Morikawa at 5.
Okay.
I just think the golf course sets up well for him in terms of ball striking. I just think he's a player that can go out there and grind it out. I got Rahm at 4. I think we probably have Rahm in a similar spot, close to that number.
I have Rahm at 4 as well. I believe I had him at 4 before, but before 4. And then
that's the sentence. That's the way to say it.
Yeah, I moved Xander Schauffele up to 3 also.
Okay.
Not sure why, but I looked at his numbers today, Shane. He drove the absolute piss out of the golf ball at Quail Hollow. And if he does that again, I think he's contending. So he's up to 3.
So not on my list, but that's going to change. And we'll get to that, why that's going to change in a bit when we get to picks at the Memorial. I got Rory at 3. And then our top 2, I think, are some level of Bryson, Scottie. I go Bryson 2, Scottie 1. I think you did you have those flipped last week?
I got Bryson 2, Scottie 1 as well. Scottie's going to win the U.S. Open.
God, I feel like he's going to win the U.S. Open too. We'll see if that changes. I think this is a week it could change. Obviously, got a lot of big names in the field at the Memorial, not as many big names in the field at Colonial. So we'll see if somebody shows up and does something different. But that's our U.S. Open power rankings a couple weeks out. Like I said, not a lot of shifting from last week except for Rory dropping a 5, even though all he's been doing is probably sitting at home working out and hitting range balls. But Patrick does not mess around if you mess around. He's coming for you every single time. Let's get to Justin Ray. We're going to talk a little stats with him and a little bit about the Memorial. All right, time now for the biggest lie in all of sports media. 5 minutes with Justin Ray, which literally never goes 5 minutes. Even when we try to make it go 5 minutes. Jay Ray, you know him on Twitter, 21st Group, does an incredible job really each and every week of bringing you the best stats in all of golf. Jay Ray, you got something on a man we just talked about, Ludwig, who has not played great this season.
No, and I thought this was an interesting thing diving into his approach play numbers because he's down more than 100 spots this season in strokes gained approach compared to a year ago, but he's still hitting it close from the fairway. He's second on the PGA Tour this season in proximity to the hole from the fairway, 118th from the rough. And I threw this out on Twitter the other day. I thought, is this like a conservative approach when you get a bad lie situation? Is this or just simply, maybe like an angle of attack type thing with his swing? I would be interested to know maybe some more insight into why he thinks that might be so. But it's an interesting juxtaposition to see second from the fairway and outside the top 100 from the rough.
Huh. I wonder if his misses off the tee are wider, perhaps.
That could also be part of it as well. Yeah, there's always something deeper beyond a stat that's kind of on the surface there. But just to see that massive disparity, there's got to be something up with that.
Yeah, so someone who hasn't missed, especially at Muirfield Village the past few years, is Scottie Scheffler. What kind of numbers do you have on the world number one at Jack's Place?
He doesn't miss much anywhere. So the last 3 times he's been to Muirfield Village, he's finished third, and first. He's gained 41.6 strokes gained total in that span. So naturally, I wanted to find out what Tiger Woods did in 1999, 2000, and 2001 when he three-peated each win by multiple shots at the Memorial. Tiger gained, wait for it, 57 strokes on the competition in that span. It's 4.75 per round. He's beating the field by almost 5 shots per round on average in that stretch. Just an absolutely absurd run of golf. And then naturally, because I saw, he three-peated by multiple shots, that can't have happened much. The only other time any player's ever done that since 1960 on the PGA Tour, Johnny Miller in Tucson, 74, 75, and 76.
Jay Ray, didn't he win one of those by like 15 shots too? One of the events, I think, in Tucson. I mean, it was like bananas that he won it by that many. So crazy.
There's some circadian rhythm early in the year, Johnny Miller thing, because he was unbelievable the first month of the year throughout his career.
I mean, Tucson, a great place to go, man. Go there, get a cowboy at Baggins. Maybe you go down to Dirt Bags, get a beer. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love Tucson?
When I saw
Arizona?
Tucson Open, I knew that'd make you a happy man.
Oh, yeah. A little Tucson Open story for you. I went as a journalist while I was in college to follow Ty Tryon the year he got his PGA Tour card because I wanted to go walk 18 holes and follow Ty Tryon. Did not play well, but I will never forget it because, I mean, Ty Tryon was, the modern-day Ryo Ishikawa or somebody like that, where he was the 18-year-old that was going to be, the next big thing. So that was my lone media credential to the Tucson Open when I was in college. What about Muirfield as a test? What is this test in terms of the players? Is it a driving golf course, irons, in and around the greens? What does it test?
So I think folks would be surprised to learn that it yielded the lowest greens and regulation rate of any course on the PGA Tour last season. A little bit tougher than both Pinehurst and Royal Troon, just 53.5%, which I thought was, to put that up in context against the major championships, especially US Open, can just show you how difficult it is to hit the greens. Oh, and by the way, when you miss these greens, it's 6th toughest in proximity around the green. It's a statistic the PGA Tour also keeps that kind of measures. Best way to describe it is how accurate your chipping or your bunker shots are. So you're going to miss a lot of greens, and it's difficult to get it close, and that's kind of the beauty of the test. The greens roll really pure. I'm sure you're not going to be surprised to learn, and a lot of the putting metrics kind of flip on its ear in terms of difficulty. They yield like a higher make rate from 4 to 8 feet, 5 to 10, all the different typical ranges. But yeah, it's such a difficult ball striking test, and I think that's why it always elicits a really demanding list of champions.
Interesting. The putting statistics, interesting. Obviously going to be tough hitting greens, like you mentioned. Is there someone not named Scottie Scheffler who might be best equipped to access some of these pin locations?
So you guys probably mentioned this dude in your Ryder Cup discussion that I got to hear a little bit of before I came on, but there are 2 players on the PGA Tour this season gaining a shot or more per round with their approach play. Scottie Scheffler, of course. Sepp Straka is the other one, which I found to be really surprising that he was that high up there. Gaining a full shot with your approach play is like peak Morikawa, Tiger, Scottie. It's that kind of range of iron play. He leads the PGA Tour in greens and regulation percentage this season. Now up to 9th in the world ranking. Really the only next step for this guy, he's obviously played on a European Ryder Cup team, is to succeed in the major championships. And he's missed the cut in each of the first 2 majors this year, or else I think we'd be talking about him a lot more. But he's a guy who's a prime candidate to maybe break through and get that first major win here throughout the last 2 majors of the season.
And I love that a sleepy, quote unquote, sleepy player on the European Ryder Cup team is like ball striking that well. It's like the
2-time winner this year,
7 names or whatever. You're like, here's another guy, by the way, that's incredible at golf this season. Good luck to everybody. Jay Ray, we'll wrap up with Erin Hills, one of my favorite golf courses in the United States. I think it's going to be an awesome test this week in terms of the U.S. Women's Open. I think it's hosting its 5th USGA championship this year already, which is pretty wild to see. What do you got in terms of Erin Hills?
I'm really interested to see it too. I know a lot of folks probably haven't seen it since that 2017 U.S. Open, which was memorable in a lot of different ways for a lot of weird reasons. Maybe not so much all of the golf itself, but I'm really interested to see how the women play this golf course. And I was looking at different trends at the U.S. Women's Open. We've got good strokes gain data going back about 3 full seasons now on the LPGA Tour. The U.S. Women's Open, the biggest difference in terms of players who have finished in the top 5 at the U.S. Women's Open in recent years compared to the rest of the LPGA Tour schedule, they get a higher percentage of their shots, strokes gained on shots around the green, which that's understandable because it's a U.S. Women's Open. Everybody's going to miss greens. That number's about 10% compared to about 7% the rest of the season on the PGA Tour, or LPGA Tour rather. And then looking at what happened at the U.S. Open in 2017, you might think, you remember Koepka winning. Is this something that it's a really power prejudice golf course? It's actually not. It was significantly lower in terms of percentage of strokes gained off the tee for the top 10 finishers at that U.S. Open compared to the PGA Tour average week in and week out. So that's good news for players like Lydia Ko, maybe Miyu Yamashita, who aren't necessarily the longest players, but are highly ranked in the Rolex rankings. Interested to see how that plays out. I'm not sure I don't know if it means a whole lot, but it's something to just kind of wrap your brain around before we get the U.S. Women's Open started.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Super pumped to watch that one. Obviously, the golf courses, I think it's one of the few modern courses that seem extremely equipped to host this level of championship. And the golf course is demanding kind of start to finish, especially if the winds are up. I mean, you think back to 2017, no wind really throughout the entire week. Also, Kevin Na's probably second most impactful moment on social media outside of the pick the ball up out of the hole with Tiger at Sawgrass when he basically was the reason they cut the rough around Erin Hills early in the week. But hopefully they leave the rough up because the fairways are wide at Erin, and these ladies will not have a problem hitting fairways around the golf course. Really, demand starts once you find that fairway in the second shots. Jay Ray, always appreciate the time, man. We'll check in with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, it is that time in the show where we make our picks and we stand by them. We always revisit them. We never just disregard this the moment we end the show and never talk about them again. Memorial Week. Patrick, are you a Memorial Muirfield Village fan?
I love it. I think the one downside every year, Shane, is there's always a thunderstorm delay.
Always.
When I think about this golf tournament, I think about rain on Friday. And then I also think about Hideki Matsuyama with the whiteout on the 3-wood and being DQ'd for that too in recent memory. But yeah, I love it. I feel like it's one of those tournaments where you can think back to shots, think back to moments like I just mentioned. And that's not the case for every single tournament on the PGA Tour.
And Patrick, you probably don't know this. They have milkshakes in the clubhouse that they won't get a lot of play. They won't get a lot of play this week. Nobody will talk about them, but that's apparently like a little bit of a, if you know, sort of thing at the golf course. So dive into that at some point if you want to. We do can win, can't win. 3 players that can win, 3 players that can't win. We try to fly close to the sun with these. We want as close as we can get. I had Scottie that can't win last week, finished fourth. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Who do you have on your can win list this week?
Can win this week. Scottie Scheffler. I think he's going to run away from the field, win by 5 again. You've always mentioned it. His winning margin just seems like he's due, right? He hasn't won in a week. He's just due to win. It's been a while.
God, he's got to be thirsty for a victory.
Got to be thirsty. That boy's starving. Keegan Bradley, he can win.
Okay.
Tee to Green Menace has been playing awesome golf. And then I'm going to get a little crazy, Shane. I'm going to say Jordan Spieth can win this week.
I would like, and Josh should do this at some point, maybe mid-season. How many times we picked Spieth or Thomas Fleetwood to win on this show? Because I feel like every week one of us picks Fleetwood or Spieth, and they never win. We just keep doing it over and over and over again. My can win this week. I got Xander. I think Xander's going to win. I got Morikawa. I think he could win. And I got Si Woo. I think Si Woo has a chance to take home the Memorial this week. And I'll roll right into my can't win. I'm going Scottie again. I don't think Scottie's winning this week. I think he'll start to get the putter dialed back in as the week progresses. But I have Scottie for a second straight week on my can't win list, which is never a good thing to do. I got Fleetwood on my can't win. I got Spieth on my can't win.
Oh,
put him on the can't win list.
Oh, hate that. Yeah, I mean the Scheffler point's a good one. Has he forgotten how to win?
I know. It's been
definitely
a while.
up in the air. Definitely up in the air. My can't win. Justin Thomas. Welcome back to the list. It's been a while. Ludwig Oberg. You're not winning. I think Hovland can win, which he's
I agree
like
with that.
I think he can win, but I want him on my can't win list. So instead, I'm going to go with Morikawa can't win.
Okay.
Even though you think about this golf course, it just screams
he should win. Right.
Colin Morikawa. So
he should win. He should win here.
Yeah, he should.
But, and I'm right there with you. And he's had some chances. He's had some chances at this golf course plenty of times in his career. All right. So your pick is who? Who is winning this week?
My pick is Scottie Scheffler. He's going to win, but by 4.5. I'm taking the spread. Scheffler,
okay. If he wins by 2, you don't get the credit. Okay.
Correct.
I like that. I'm going Xander. I think Xander wins this week, and the hype starts for the U.S. Open. I'm getting the sense, by the way, he's going to be your pick at the U.S. Open. So kind of leaning that way, especially if he plays well here and kind of rolls in with some real positive vibes. My long shot, a guy we talked about earlier this week, Rickie Fowler.
Oh, okay.
The number's crazy. I think he's like plus 8,900 or something.
Okay.
But I just, if you're going to go with a long shot, you got to go with somebody that's probably not going to win but might. And I'm going to go with Rickie, who gave himself a chance last week.
I like that. I'm going to go. I found an 80-1 on this cat on the black market. Robert McIntyre coming off a good performance there at the Chuck Schwab. I think he went through a little bit of that lull. I think he's out of it, and he's going to keep on piling up results. This is kind of when he got hot last year too.
My favorite thing you do in the picks is that you just look at the list as we're doing them. That's I think that's my favorite thing you do. I mean, I write them down. I want to make sure I've got something on paper.
I like to be in the moment for the
I know. I like that, though. I wish I was a little bit more like that. I wish I could just kind of lean in to the free-flowing existence of Patrick McDonald. That is the show, by the way. Ryder Cup, U.S. Open, Memorial, rolling into Oakmont, getting set for some big events. I mean, just really excited about it. We'll see how things change next week, but appreciate the time, and we'll check back with you guys after the Memorial.